Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's ending. Ooh boy, if you thought Remake's ending was controversial, this is on a whole nother level. Now, nothing here is 100% definitive, as it's all just speculation from anybody at this point, until the third game confirms it. So, take everything with a grain of salt, but we can all kind of suspect how it ended. So, obviously, spoiler, alert. Yes, we still get the scene with Aerith dying, though the delivery and execution behind it is very poorly done, as reviews clearly pointed out. Cloud basically stops Sephiroth from killing Aerith, but Sephiroth somehow does it anyway by dragging the original reality where he succeeded into the alternate Remake 1, and Cloud, with his messed up mind, especially as bad as it is, imagines that Aerith is still alive and is fighting alongside him for part of the final battle. Even Zack, from the alternate timeline, or the live stream world, or whatever, nobody really knows at this point, someone crosses over he somehow crosses over into the main timeline's world, and is also assisting Cloud in fighting Sephiroth. Now, everyone else doesn't see any of this, and we are resigned to Aerith's fate of her being dead. Big boss battles ensue, our good guys win, Zack wakes up in his timeline's church saying, if the worlds could merge once, who's to say it won't happen again? Remember, we still have Coma Aerith and Coma Cloud in Zack's timeline, and my guess would be the memories of this Aerith will now transfer over to her, waking her from her coma in Part 3. Kind of like how Aerith was more aware of things going on in Remake before the Whispers took all those memories away. So I think Aerith number 2 will have all the memories of this Aerith we've been with. So we then cut to the party in mourning of Aerith's passing, all except Cloud, who is still seeing her talk to him, so his demeanor isn't one of mourning like the rest, which is very off-putting to the party. But I don't think Cloud is just hallucinating at this point. Yes, Cloud is in denial, but he can also see her spirit. We know it's her spirit and not a hallucination because Red 13 can sense her too when she touches him. It's just like Advent Children, which they already confirmed these games will still eventually lead into, sadly. So I'm starting to lose hope for getting dorky Cloud in Part 3. We're probably still getting emo Cloud from Advent Children. Cloud looks at the materia in his possession turned black, with some red cracks going through it as he mumbles about the reunion. Aerith tells Cloud not to look up at the sky, as it shows a huge crack of space-time or live stream shenanigans in the sky, just like the materia. So he tells the others not to look, as it's probably an illusion. They look up, see nothing, and Tifa and Barrett conclude that Cloud is indeed a nutcase, as he has been slowly getting worse all game. As they head out, Aerith promises to use all her prayers to stop Meteor, and Cloud promises to stop Sephiroth as the party heads off with her spirit watching on. Now, in Zack's timeline, Biggs and Marlene are also there, but oddly enough, they can remember Cloud from Timeline 1, even though they have never met him in this timeline, which is confusing even to Zack. Even Biggs makes a comment saying, oh, my memory has been a little fun, a little messy lately. Now, if this Timeline 2 is just the live stream, why would Marlene be here if Marlene, 1 never died? Even if say there's multiple timelines and all Marlenes are somehow special and could interact with the live stream and hear them, this still doesn't mean Marlene can just straight up talk to them in a whole living, breathing world by herself. So Marlene 2 in Zack's time isn't the same person as Marlene 1. These are two separate different Marlenes in two separate, living realities or whatever. Just like Aerith 2 being in a wheelchair and recovering at the moment in reality 2. Just like Cloud being in a coma and, recovering from the Mako poison. It's all a head-scratching situation, but we also have a different interpretation from Sephiroth. Now, as for my opinion from his explanation, it sounds like the reality in which Zack and Aerith are alive is a parallel reality within the live stream. As he says, all these worlds are still part of the singular planet, and they are all temporary. They represent just possibilities, worlds that could be, but aren't quite real. As he said, when these other worlds end, it's not death, but a homecoming that awaits them. They're basically returning to the live stream. Now, after Remake, I thought this was going to be all about like metafiction and subverting the original, but that's not looking like the case. But honestly, I would have preferred that. We have the original Final Fantasy VII, and you know, Remake was never going to replace it. Just like Final Fantasy, or just like Resident Evil 4 Remake didn't replace the original Resident Evil 4. It'll be a while before we find out all these answers, like, honestly, for real, as the final game in this trilogy won't release until probably 2028, 2029, sadly. I'm most curious on what Maximilian dude thinks about all this, as he is a massive Final Fantasy VII fan, and he's usually pretty good at deciphering what's happening. So I can't wait until his playthrough reaches the ending to hear his thoughts, so be sure to check his streams out for his full playthrough. Anyways, I just wanted to give my 2 cents on how I interpreted this ending. So thanks for watching. Leave a like, a comment on what you think the ending is. Maybe I'm just nuts and I'm completely getting this wrong. So, you know, whatever. And, you know, subscribe for more videos on like all things video games. Catch you next time.